Good morning, family. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. God often will not trust us with more until He can first trust us with what we have. God will not often trust us with more until He can first trust us with what we have. God is a God of faith, okay? He's a God of faith. He moves by faith, not by sight. God is always allowing things in your life and doing things in your life to develop your faith in Him and your trust in Him, because God knows that faith in Him is the ball game for victory in your life. And sometimes God will sovereignly allow seasons whereby even though you're working for more, even though you want more, you won't have more, because God is working on faith so that you trust Him with what you have. You see, God doesn't want you putting your hope in things. God doesn't want you putting hope in the fact that you can work hard. God doesn't want you putting your hope in your salary. God doesn't want you putting hope in your bank account. God doesn't want you putting hope in your house or your possessions. God knows that the only way you have victory and peace in your life is for all of your faith, all of your hope, all of your joy to be housed fully in God Himself. And so oftentimes in our life, know that God won't trust us with more until He can first trust us with what we already have. This is what I want you to hear as a tagline. God is rarely the God of extra, but He's always the God of enough. He is rarely the God of extra. He is always the God of enough. He taught the children of Israel this through manna. In Exodus chapter 16, they're in the wilderness. They don't have the food that they need. And God, for 40 years, rained bread literally on the people. And they called it manna, which in the Hebrew tongue meant, what exactly is it? What is this? Okay. And in Exodus chapter 16, verse 15, the manna had fallen from heaven. And the Bible says, when the people of Israel saw it, they said to one another, what is it? For they didn't know what it was. And Moses said to them, it's the bread that the Lord has given you to eat. And then in verse 16, he says, take care of this. Never get too much of it. Don't get too little. Here are some rules that are prescribed to how you're supposed to steward God's gift. And if you honor the rules, God will always trust you with more and more and more. And I think that's a principle to life today, that God still continues to rain manna on our lives. It's the food on our tables. It's the clothes on our back. It may not be the clothes we want, but it's the clothes we got. It may not be the food we want, but it's the food we got, because God is always wanting to make sure that our hope will never be in God's stuff. Our hope will always be in God Himself. So I just want to encourage you today, because you may be in a season where there's no such thing as more. In fact, even the enough, it seems like it's tight. There's not extra, there's just enough. But know that God is saying, I want you to trust me. I want you to try me. I want you to take one day at a time, because I can trust you with more when I first understand that I can trust you with what you already have. It's a principle to life. So the story I always tell is how Dad didn't trust me with a new car when I was growing up, but he did trust me with the old beat-up 1984 Chevrolet Chevette that was so many colors, we called it Joseph, okay? But I took care of that car. I changed the oil. I changed the brake pads. I washed on top of rust. I did that for a summer, and the next year, Dad blessed me with a brand new 1995 Chevy red Camaro, and before he threw me the keys, he says, there's no way I'd trust you with this Camaro if I didn't first understand I could trust you with that Chevette. Here, boy, threw me the keys and I went to have fun. The idea is that he could trust me with more because he watched me be trusted with what I had. Maybe that's a word for you today. That's hope for today, and I'll see you next time.